right, hello and welcome to another Expert Inside interview. My name is John Golden from SalesPOP, online sales magazine, and Pipeliner CRM, joining you as usual from a sunny San Diego. And today I'm delighted to be joined from the other coast, from Steve Griggs, who is in New York. How are you doing, Steve?
Hey, what's up, John?
Yeah, New York, great. Yeah, my one of my nephews is in New York right now, in Brooklyn, working there for the summer from Ireland. He came over just like we all did back in the day, so he's having a great time.
I'm sure he is.
Yeah. Wouldn't you want to be? He'd want to be 20, 21 again, huh?
Exactly, right?
Yeah, and uh, and not all landscape designers are created equal. And Steve Griggs is living proof. From dirty jobs that require engineering, plant science, and innovation, he is a landscape architect to call, with decades of experience that span hundreds of homes, lots of spray cans, dozens of worn-out boots. Steve is the guy you want to call when you want more than a pretty garden. So you built this, as we used to say in Ireland, Steve. You know, there's money in muck.
That's so. Yeah, we call it money and mulch, right?
Yeah. This is money and muck. But so just tell me a little bit. You've been doing this for 40 years. You know, what has changed in how you go about business today as how you would have gone about it, you know, maybe when you started out? What are the major changes you've seen?
Just all the online stuff, and now
Mhm.
they have the 3D renderings and the architectural animations and all. Because when I was in college, we didn't have all that. Everything was hand drawn. I still hand draw it today.
Mhm.
I have people that do the CAD and the renderings, but I don't even know how to do it. So I still like my spray can.
Yeah. And then just how do you manage to maintain though that creative edge when things are getting more, you know, scientific and engineering heavy, you know, and plant science driven project? I mean, how do you keep your edge there?
You just so our work is mainly residential, and you
Mhm.
have to connect with the clients. That's the main thing. You can show up with a pretty picture, 3D rendering and AI generated rendering, but you still have to execute the project. Don't forget, you're going to come to somebody's home and dig an 8 foot hole in their backyard
Mhm.
for a swimming pool, and you're disrupting their lives, right?
Mhm.
So you have to keep that constant communication and that constant flow, and you know, and just keep them up to date on what's happening in the whole project. It's basically old school, old school. Like I'm an old school guy. Like it's communication. Yeah.
Yeah, but I tell you what, Steve. We've done some projects ourselves lately at our home over the last year or so, and I will tell you exactly what you're talking about there. That some people do not know the art of communication, and it's the one thing that always kind of drives you crazy. You know, they come during the sales process. You know, they're all great and everything, and then you get into the
Ah,
project, and the communication is really poor, and they always make you feel like somehow it's your fault or whatever. But you obviously, I mean, that's obviously why you've been successful, because you take the over communication approach.
yes, because like when you're selling the project and you're trying to pitch yourself, they have the control,
Hmm.
right? The client has the control. They have the checkbook. But once they sign a dotted line, give you that check, you're basically they're at your mercy, right?
Hmm.
You know, they come in there and they disrupt your home and they're digging and they're working, but sometimes they show up, sometimes they don't. Not all contractors, um, but the good ones will keep the communication open. It's a very simple business. Any business is very simple,
Hmm. Yeah.
especially in the home service business.
Yeah. No, you're so right, because people, especially in the home services business, as you said, you're disrupting. It's very important that the communication, that people are on the same page, so there's not all these kind of disputes that come up. And a lot of the times, aren't they? I mean, I guess you've seen this too. The problems come up when there's a lack of understanding and communication. It's rarely the actual work.
John, I fix hundreds of jobs from shoddy contractors.
Hmm.
The homeowner went with the lowest price because they just don't know any better, right? So they'll get three bids and they'll pick the lowest one because they just don't know the
Hmm.
difference, right? So that's why we try to be different.
Yeah. And then how do you so there's a lot of obviously innovation and science and stuff coming into all of this. How do you balance that with tell me a little bit about, number one, about how things have changed in terms of like maybe the technology and the scientific approach to it, and how you balance that with your old school
Uh,
fundamentals.
I mean, right off the bat, I'm sure it's the same way where you are in San Diego. The permitting process, it takes 6 months to get a swimming pool permit, right?
Mm,
The technology has helped a lot. Just easier stuff to use, more tool. It's just more tools to use, right?
mhm,
You still got to be, you still have to know how to use the tools, right?
right.
Um,
And then when you're working with homeowners, uh, when you talk to them first, how do you you obviously how do you assess what type of customer they're going to be, what they're what they're going to need, what they're going to want? How do you interpret that?
so the first meeting is you just become a good listener, right?
Hmm.
You just have them talk. You shut up. You let them talk, and then you just let them talk about how their wants, their needs, and what they kind of visualize the back. I just tell them, I just ask them, what's the feeling you want to have when you go into your space outside? And then from there, I can basically take it over.
Yeah, and that's such a great question. What feel because I feel like a lot of people in all businesses, in all sales, oftentimes don't ask that question. It's like with you, what feeling or what do you want to feel like when you walk into this space? It should be the same. Like, what do you want to feel like when you implement this technology or whatever it is? It's the same, but sometimes we forget that these are humans, right? And feelings are often what actually drives them at the end of the day.
Well, the emotional, what we sell is to a high end client
Mhm,
who has very discerning taste, and they want certain things a certain way, and they don't want to be ripped off, right?
mhm,
And they want to be talked straight to. Don't yes them, don't BS them, just tell them straight up, and they usually respect that a lot, and that usually starts off on the right foot.
yeah,
Again, we don't, again, like you said, pick good clients. Sometimes you get the ones that are,
yeah. So do you
difficult.
do you ever walk away from a client when you say this isn't going to fit my values, it's not good, this isn't going to be a good match?
Absolutely. So come out and give me an. I said, how does it work? I said, first we got to. I come out there and we see if we like each other, right?
Right.
We got to like you. I gotta like you. Like it's got to be. You got to feel. You feel that energy, right? You
Yeah.
feel that vibe. So it's something that you can't do over Zoom. I don't do designs really over the Zoom. I like to
Mhm,
meet the people. That one-on-one contact, the handshake, the look in the eye, and you get that feeling.
mhm,
Both ways too. They got to get a sense of me also.
yeah. And how much of you do you think, like, since COVID, people have really, kind of gone back to wanting that kind of real human interaction, that face to face, that relationship?
That's It's been a game changer, right? So people, some people didn't even go into their backyards, right? They didn't
Mhm,
know, they don't go outside much now since COVID. Everybody wants to have that space. It's a crazy world, right? So, but at the home, your home is your sanctuary. It's really the only
mhm,
place that you feel safe and secure, and your family feels safe. And it's good for your space. It's good for your soul. It's very important. Like it's deeper than just designing beautiful landscapes. It goes
mhm,
much deeper than that for sure.
yeah. And as you've built your business over the years, I mean, one of the things that often challenges entrepreneurs and like yourself is as you try to scale the business, it's ensuring that you don't become the bottleneck, right? How have you managed that? Where you can scale your business and it just doesn't all fall on you, because obviously you can only scale yourself so far.
So, again, when I started, there was no podcast like this. There was
Mhm,
there was no internet. There was no YouTube. So it was basically trial and error. You still have to have your finger on the. I don't see anybody that has a successful business that I
mhm.
do, and that just basically sends out the soldiers and do the work. I still have to be in control because it's my vision, right? I just can't send a bunch of guys to do
Yeah.
a project and don't put my fingerprint on, because they're hiring me. They hire me to think. They hire me for the vision. They don't hire me to dig holes.
Mhm. Yeah. Hire a bunch of paddies to do that.
Yeah, like if you're gonna just build a walkway, I'm not your guy. Like I just tell them.
I'm saying paddies, we love digging holes, so if
Yeah,
you need some
yeah.
holes, dig. And I was going to ask you. So you've expanded beyond New York, right? You do projects outside of New York. You've done
hmm
some global projects. What challenges does that raise when you start to go beyond your location?
It, not. I don't really have many challenges like that, because what the way we operate the business is basically we are the hub of the business, so
Hmm.
everything flows through us, the clients communicate through us, and we are like the conductor in an orchestra where we can basically conduct the whole project. And we use outside, I have to vet the vendors and the subcontractors, and you have to be fair to the contractors. Everybody's got to make money,
Hmm.
everybody's got to be happy, and then it works out for a good project.
Yeah. And how much of your work then comes from referrals from the folks that you do work with?
So now I'm glad I'm on SalesPOP podcast,
Mm.
because to me, I would say 95%.
Wow.
And that's only because of the communication and the follow. I've done homes for, you know, same client, 2 or 3 homes, their kids, their families. So I think when you build that and they know, like, and trust you from the beginning,
Yeah.
then they're going to refer you to their other people. I'd rather come back and replace a plant that died that I don't have to warranty that cost me $300 than give it to Facebook for an ad. Because if you show that faith that you came back 3 years later and replaced that plant, you're gonna create raving fans, and that's kind of how we built it.
Yeah, that's such a great point, and that's such a great example. I mean, even that one that you could spend $300 on a Facebook ad trying to gain a new customer, which you may or may not, or you could spend it on delighting somebody who you've done work with, and then they become your Facebook ad.
Absolutely. Oh, I'm sorry, I can't replace it. It's not under warranty. Don't just go there. Even if it costs you a few bucks, it's gonna raise your credibility 1,000 times.
Yeah. Yeah, there's nothing worse than the people who say, "Oh, I can't do any. Oh, it's not, unfortunately, this isn't, it's not in the warranty, or this isn't," which, maybe, technically correct, but that's not what people want to hear the first time. They want to hear, like, here's what I can do for you, even if it turns out that you can't do you can't do everything for free. But at least if you start off with, here's what I can do for you, that's a different approach,
Yeah,
because often
people
people
like
just
that.
lead with the, here's what I can't do for you.
On our projects, they're 300,000 and up.
Mhm.
Let's say I'm not gonna say, oh, you owe me $300 for a dead plant, right?
Right.
So it doesn't go very well.
Yeah.
No, it really doesn't. If you don't replace that plant that you said you're going to replace, now you built a beautiful project and your word is basically trash now.
Mhm. Yeah, because here's the thing: is like a lot of salespeople and business people, they say they struggle with referrals. They say, "Oh, I never get any, referrals," and that. And then when you do some investigation, you find that it's because they just deliver. They deliver what was, I mean, and which is great. Yeah, deliver what the person, bought, but nothing beyond that. You don't leave them. You said earlier, don't leave
It's,
them with any feeling that you worked with somebody really special.
you're just basically a transactional guy. So
Mhm.
where our thinking is, you become more relationship oriented, right? Build that relationship, get that referral, um, and that's basically, and just rinse and repeat. And
Mhm.
another quick tip is what I always do. I've been doing this for a very long time. I'll email my clients at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning, and that's helped a lot also, because if they're saying, wow, this guy's thinking of me at 4:30 in the morning, that you want to make your client, don't tell your client you got other jobs, you're busy. No, I
Mhm.
only care about my job, my project. Don't
Mhm.
tell them you're busy, you have other clients. You need to make them the most important client ever.
And that's another really, really good point, because you just keep reminding me of, experiences we've had
Oh, it's
ourselves.
terrible. If you work
But
in your own house, you know
yeah,
what it's
but it's
like.
true. It's true when they just say, "Oh, they're not coming tomorrow because there's an issue somewhere else at a different client they need to take care of.
I
Sorry
get
about
it.
that."
I get it. As emergencies come up, but if you can
Yeah.
communicate, if they're not going to come to your house tomorrow and they say, "Hey, I have an emergency on the job," and they
Mhm.
called you the night before,
Yeah.
you can respect that. Don't just show up. Don't just not show
Yeah,
up.
exactly. Exactly. And I think that's the problem a lot of the times, is exactly that, where the internal communication seems to be more important than the customer communication.
Correct.
Yeah. So, what do you see as, what are some of the newer, as I said, like, how has landscaping and gardening, changed in terms of now? I mean, you said, like, obviously permitting and stuff like that, but just in what people are looking for as opposed to what they used to be looking for.
So now they're looking for more outdoor base. So in the New York area, like we have a very short season, right?
Hmm.
So they're looking to elongate the season, and we do that by outdoor fireplaces, heaters in the pergolas,
Hmm.
that kind of stuff, so they can expand the season more. Spend more time outside, right? That's been the biggest shift for sure, right? And they're much more educated now because everybody's got the phone and they're Googling. The funniest is when I go to a client, they whip out their phone and the wife is just whips over the Pinterest.
Yeah.
And then I have to have the come to Jesus conversation where, and then you got to talk numbers.
Yeah.
You got to talk numbers. It's uncomfortable, but you have to set the expectations on the pricing also.
Yeah. So do you do that? Is that something that you are comfortable? You do that kind of fairly upfront, just say like, this is great what you're showing me. This is awesome. But let me give you some reality on what this would cost.
Some of the more higher value clients have a pretty good understanding. Budget sometimes not so much. I guess everybody. I
Mhm.
don't care how much money you have.
Yeah.
Everybody's watching the dollar. But I like to use third party, right? I don't say, oh, that's going to cost you 300,000. I say typically what you're showing me now. We've had clients spend on a project like this 200 to
Mm.
$600,000, and it kind of takes the pressure off me.
Right.
I'm just telling them what other clients have spent,
Hmm.
and that kind of softens the blow a little bit.
Right. So then you give them kind of a ballpark range so that they know that they're.
Buying a car, it's like buying. I can build you a swimming pool from Target for $50, and you get just as wet as the swimming pools I built for 400,000. I've used that a lot too. So it's like what do you want to So it's very hard to narrow that down before you design it. If you want to kind of get some sort of budget type, I hate to use the word budget.
Yeah. Yeah.
You have to design it whatever the cost. It costs what it costs. Like,
Hmm.
I mean, whatever, if you want cheaper materials, I can give you cheaper materials, but just to let you know, you'll have to replace it in 5 years. But if I use this material, it's going to cost you a little more, but it'll last you a lifetime.
Yeah.
So you have to kind of walk them through that exercise a little bit. You have to educate them.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. And as you were saying, so you obviously use a lot of contractors and that. So it's obviously really important for you to build good relationships with contractors, to select good contractors, because they're an extension of you when they're on the job.
Absolutely. Like, don't leave your Chinese food bags around because the dog's going to eat the bones and you're going to get a hospital bill for $1,000. That's
Oh,
happened.
oh, wow.
Right? So you have to set the expectations with the contractors. This is how we work. This is what time you're going to show up. This is how you're going to leave the job site. So everybody sets the expectations, and then you're in there as a team, and then everybody needs to come out and make money, be efficient. Try to not have too many callbacks. You want to do it right the first time. And it works. It's construction. Everything, it
Mhm.
doesn't run smooth at all.
Right, of course, yeah.
It's always a fire. Every day's a fire.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And so what are your future plans for the business?
So we just keep it on rolling, right? We just keep it on. We wrote the landscaping book. We just finished writing a landscaping course that's going to be premiered on Upflip platform. Basically, just keep doing. I don't play golf.
Hmm.
I think for people, for entrepreneurs type, I think you want to try to do the best you can, right? Like, you want to see what your potential can reach, right?
Hmm.
That's why I keep doing it, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Just to see, hey, what else, and the value of the projects go up and up, and the complexity of the jobs go up, and it's all it's what you want inside. It's really inside of you.
Yeah. So is it still did you still get that challenge, that sense of challenge?
John, there's nothing like the hunt, bro. There's not. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
a difficult client. I'm not going to spend that money. I'm not spending that kind of money. It's just, they start freaking out about the money, and then you just calm them down and you walk them through it. And the best, when you're all done, says, "Wow, I can't believe this is my backyard. I feel like I'm on vacation." To me, that's the most rewarding.
Yeah, yeah, and I think one of the things that Steve that's come through from talking to you, and I talk about this a lot on this podcast, is that is you have to have passion for what you're doing, and even if you weren't, even if you were just one of a sales rep working on your behalf, the passion that you show for your business is what's going to persuade me to work with you. If you just turn up and speak a load of words or whatever, I'm not going to get that attachment. I've got to see the passion and the connection you have to your business.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the question you asked me earlier is what's changed over the years. People like to feel that connection, that human connection, right?
Mm-hmm.
We spoke about that earlier, the human connection. They want to deal with a human, not just some order taker, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I like to go to the client's house and get that connection going early on, because they can smell in New York. They can smell that a mile away. They could see it coming.
Yeah, and they'll let you know too.
They will let you know, which I like. It's good. It's upfront. There's no BS.
Yeah. That's great. Well, listen, Steve, this has been fascinating. All of Steve's information will be below this video. But before we go, please do remind people what you do.
We design and create beautiful outdoor spaces for beautiful affluent clients in the tri-state areas. Our main focus: New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. We'll go anywhere, create beautiful projects. And I've been doing it for 40 years. So it's like, if I'm going against another guy who has same price, same everything, do you want to hire the guy that wrote the book, that's been doing it for 40 years? Same like if you're going to go get your knee surgery, you want the guy right out of med school, or the guy that's done 10,000 knee operations?
Yeah.
So it makes it an easier sale for me.
Yeah. Well, listen, Steve, this has been great. Great insights. Thank you for that. Thank you for watching and listening. See you all again very soon.
Thanks, John. Have a great day.